With the Switch pricing out and also the pricing with the games out, it's been a big topic of discussion. And unfortunately for Nintendo and their Treehouse events, well, the chat looks like a bomb with a bunch of drop prices comments. It's been spamming like crazy. But once again, at the price of $444.99 for the system and $499, essentially $500 for the bundle, prices may not be all that bad. The issue is the games. But we got another monkey wrench we got to talk about as well. Nintendo has announced they are going to delay the pre orders for the Nintendo Switch 2. Originally, it was scheduled for you to be able to go into your local stores, your Walmarts, your Best Buys, and your Targets to be able to do your pre order. That was scheduled for April the 9th, but that's not happening. It's because of Trump's tariffs. They have to evaluate what it means for their company, and it's going to be delayed indefinitely until they come up with a plan. But they still claim they plan on releasing the system at its suggested retail price at $449.99. Now, with tariffs aside, before that came into place, the console itself, I felt like it was reasonably priced, all things considered. If you look at like something like the Steam Deck and, you know, let's say other portable devices that are out there, and when you buy Nintendo, you're essentially buying a Switch for Nintendo games, essentially. But the price of the console aside, I feel like the games itself is ridiculous. $79.99 for your bit titles is a real big ass in my opinion. $69.99 was already annoying. Going up another 10 additional dollars is wild to me, and I don't know how anybody can justify it. I don't feel like any game is worth $80. But that's subjective, and other people might feel absolutely different about it. But I kind of feel as though people talk about a video game crash. I wouldn't be surprised. And in relation to how this will affect, because the industry itself is watching, and I always look at the game industry in a way how you will look at the NFL that says for not for long. Well, it also stands as a copycat league, and I kind of feel like people are ready. So if you look at Microsoft, you look at Sony, um, their next generation consoles is probably gonna be really expensive and probably plus the games if Nintendo like gets away with it. But you never know, right? And maybe if somebody was smart, they could take advantage of it. Like Microsoft, for instance, to say, hey, this is why we got our games in multiple places, because it helps us offset the cost and keep costs relatively low. And let's say the games that, do release this system reasonably priced, like let's say $5.99, and maybe potentially the prices go back to $59.99, but they're also not immune to tariffs as well. So um, the one thing that hurts Nintendo is that, it's happening around this time. The thing that benefits Microsoft and Sony is that we're probably at least 2 to 3 years, maybe even more out before the next consoles for them. So I don't know. And then also, I know some people have issues with politics and they go like, um, politics, keep it out my games. I don't want politics anywhere in my games. Unfortunately, things do happen and they will affect you whether you like it or not. That's just part of what it is. And just because people want to turn a blind eye doesn't mean things that happen. And oftentimes it means people don't care until it actually starts affecting their pockets. And then it's kind of like, well, you kind of ask for it. And so that's what happens. Um, Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't like this, but that's reality. And so maybe now this could be like a wake up call to a lot of people out there. And, it might be a time to be proactive and actually inform yourselves. And once again, all you can do at this point is just save your money and hope that whatever does happen down the road doesn't cripple your pockets. Also, remember, this is not available. You cannot use Nintendo Switch vouchers for your Nintendo Switch 2 games. So, yeah, you can't spend only $100 and get 2 games and save money. You got no options anymore. Also, considering the fact Nintendo doesn't have anything like Xbox Game Pass at all. So, it's getting kind of crazy now with and the ask for customers. It seems like with everything that's happening, a lot of the price is just getting pushed back down to the customer, and that could be pretty frustrating for a lot of people. It first started with third parties, the 2Ks of the world. And then Sony got on board, and Microsoft came after that. It took a while before they jumped on. Nintendo was the last to the party with the $69.99 price point, starting with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I remember they released out a survey, and part of that survey was also to inform the customer that it was also part of their Nintendo voucher program. Unfortunately, going for these new increased prices sets the standard that was once set, or at least pushed, then adopted, and then now it's kind of the norm. And now that that's happened, I wonder will the same thing happen here. Maybe gamers might actually want to stand up, or maybe not. But I'm still going to argue that picking up the system is fine. It's just software sales probably going to take a serious hit. Once again, it all comes down to personal taste. Just keep that in mind. So, with all that being said, I really don't mind the price of the system as much as I mind the price of the games. We'll see if there's any changes, and I will update accordingly. But until then, make sure you guys take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I hope to catch you on the next one. Until then, later, and I'll see you soon.